Hello, hello, and welcome everyone to Divine Right of Kings, the final episode of Season 1. Welcome back, everyone. Oh, we find ourselves in the wake, the ionic charge, fizzing out where the Lord of Kings was standing on the open cockpit of his frame, attempting to leap towards Bookkeeper with his drawn sword, when a shot rang out. And we all heard Elias go, "Can't have any of that." And meanwhile, the augur is screaming wordlessly and trying to grab the controls of class warfare from inside class warfare. New level of Lancer discovered. We fight outside the mech while fighting inside the mech. And Elias says, "No, we can't have any of that." And Elias and the unmarked death's heads we've been trying to trace uncloak and reveal themselves. So you see the smoking,
oh my god,
regicide cannon hissing with steam. Elias says, "It's so good to join you all. You are such helpful guests." How we doing, team? How we feeling?
oh, could be better.
I think Penn's gonna respond with, I've always heard I'd be a good assistant.
Oh no, it begins. Yeah. In the background, just screaming and, "Hey, Bastion, we want to make a roll to regain this man that's in your cockpit trying to take it from you."
Can I try turning off my Mac?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do
Why
that.
don't you, why don't you make me a roll for that? But don't roll me with any levels of, this is your mech. Don't roll me for any levels of, like, inaccuracy. You can just shut it down. Like, roll me and just hit a 10 for me.
Okay.
This is instead of gaining control of the situation.
Well, I didn't do that.
Wonderful.
I didn't. I didn't hit that.
You love to see it.
Oh, I'm like not hitting.
The augur is going to just roar in rage and try to grab the controls and just, like, boost full speed into this statue.
Oh.
Trying to get away, but, like, just awkwardly, like, you see Class Warfare's body, like, lurch forward and impact the side of the statue like a bird with a hypersonic jet encountering a window. And just hits the wall. Maya says, "I'm terribly sorry. Am I interrupting something?"
All more of our local comms. Why didn't we take his arms?
Taking arms idea.
Almost gonna start moving towards, if I can.
Oh yeah, all yours. Action to team. We're not in rounds yet. No one's decided they would like to declare combat with Elias.
Real quick, kind of cheesy rules question.
It begins.
I regenerate 6 HP every round.
All yours.
We're not technically in combat.
All
Okay,
yours.
like when combat starts, just let me know how many rounds have passed so I know how much HP to regen.
I will.
Danke.
But again, maybe we don't go to combat today. We'll find out.
This is true.
Elias says, would you like to wait in order to get that under control? And he like raises the arm wrapped in the cannon up and discharges like the power cell out of it as it starts like cycling back up. And he says, please do take your time. I would hate for something untoward to happen.
Almost gonna go ahead and ask Bookkeeper to deal with talking if they could. I can try to rein in the mech.
Like the man off his face, and sort of just like a little shell shocked, like turn around and get back in his mech.
When I'm able to, I'd like to try to grapple, just to subdue.
Yes, you fully have control of class warfare, the mech. All yours.
Okay.
Could Bastion roll to try and, I guess, like incapacitate him in some way?
Yeah. Yeah, why don't you roll to incapacitate the man in the robot? I believe you're gonna take levels of difficulty for this. Yeah?
Sure, yeah.
Why don't you take 2 levels of difficulty for the man in the mech with the controls of your mech?
Okay. Let me look at.
Could I possibly provide any assistance for coordination? Like possibly syncing when to shake the mech, or
Oh my god.
they know when to expect it?
I mean, you do have it grabbed, so you do fully have control of the external body.
It would hurt them both potentially, but if I don't know,
Hey.
if one side's ready for it, they might be able to take advantage.
Wait, can I ask a very silly question?
Yeah.
Is Bastion buckled in?
I mean,
Oh yeah.
Your mech
I
go
don't-
fast.
Today on Does the Nelson player wear a seatbelt?
I
And
think
also-
Bastion does.
I don't think the augur would have had time, or at least I'm not sure they would have been buckled in unless they've done so since.
So I'm saying if you shook the mech,
Yeah.
one of them would be jostled terribly and the other one might not be.
For that 7.
Yeah, I did roll.
For that 7, Bastion, you're going to feel the barrel of a small snub pistol just pushed up against your gut
We're
underneath
back
your
here
armor.
again.
We're back here again.
Cool.
And he shouts you to tell your teammate to settle down.
I can shake really hard.
It's really unclear how that's gonna go.
I think Bastion just says over the comms. He has a gun. And he says to not do anything hasty.
Can I roll seize control of the situation? Take control, I think it is.
To do a shake?
Not do a shake, through talking. Essentially trying to intimidate here.
Give me a roll. It will be probably with 3 levels of disadvantage, depending on what you have to say. But like the augur he feels the consequences coming in for a landing, and he's not happy about it.
Just getting my narrative profile real quick to see what I've got levels in here. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Would I be able to roll with take control at least, +2?
Yeah.
3 levels. I mean, yeah, fuck it. Look, Augur, you have one way out of this alive right now, and that is not going to be shooting our friend, because if you do, you don't live, you're digitized, and at that point, things happen to you that don't have words anymore. But your body is ripped apart to pieces. Now, if you make it out of this alive, you could negotiate. I know that you have all kinds of friends in high places, but if you shoot our friend right now, I am going to rip you apart on an atomic level and take whatever consciousness you have and put it in my thumb drive and play with it for a long time.
Oh, that's so fucking scary.
It's a good threat.
That's a good threat. That's a good threat. Like, torture beyond mortal comprehension is a good threat. Especially when it's got, you know, I just believe him. The augur is going to say, like, the augur is going to take off. Why don't you roll me with a level of accuracy?
All right. Ah, there we go. Roller.
I love
And
that
then,
in the background here, the little tassel's just doing a spin.
can I add take control to that as well?
Yeah.
Oh wait, I should add 2 more to that as well, just for the grit.
Yeah, great.
28.
I feel like a 28 hits.
It better.
Your augur is going to pause, and he's going to say, and like you hear his voice like break a little bit, and what exactly occurs? Should I? What exactly occurs? Should I submit to this?
I don't see you dying anytime soon. You might have to answer some questions. You may stand trial, depending on how this larger situation shakes out, but honestly, knowing you, I'm sure you can handle that.
And there's like a long pause where he just sits there, unmoving, with the gun pressed against Bastion's sternum. In the distance, you hear Elias go, "We are on the clock, by the way. And I would hate for you to miss your opportunity." And the augur says, "All right. Your friend's a good talker. He buttered me up." He mutters to you, Bastion, just like slowly removes the firearm and sets it down and raises his hands. Like, puts his hands behind his head. How's Team Elias doing?
Quick question.
Yeah.
Can I move the body of the Lord of Kings' mech around? It's not scrap yet, right?
I mean, I think you fully have that.
Can I use it as hardcover and or
as
just sort of lift it and show off how strong Red Hen is and maybe intimidate these guys a little bit as I move forward a bit?
I feel like you fully have control of that body. I don't know if lifting it, that's very heavy, but you can definitely move it around, no problem. She's big, she's strong, she's jacked.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, Bookkeeper's going to, if he can, move to where the king was standing on this sort of like torn up and ruined chassis with a pair of smoking boots on it, and have Red Hen move it closer while
just like push it up.
Hmm? Yeah, just a little bit to like
Yeah.
right in here, maybe.
When you get to here, Elias will say, I wouldn't do that if I was you. I would.
Bookkeeper. I'm sorry.
No, no, you just said I would prefer for this to be a conversation.
Bookkeeper's going to quirk an eyebrow. Like, really? I'm sitting out in plain view, and that's what you're worried about?
He would
Um,
prefer for this to be a conversation.
I can I actually stand on the chassis of the King's Mech? No,
Oh, hell
bookkeeper,
yeah.
like the guy, the man.
Oh, the man, yes.
Yeah. Like, make it clear that I'm going to talk and like have Red Hen move it forwards, like a big old like
Oh, yeah. Oh,
mobile
yeah.
throne. No, I'm just trying to get
That's
close enough to have a face-to-face conversation.
that's so good. Yeah. The man more than welcome to get out. All yours.
Perfect. Okay.
I will
And
get
there
your
he
menu in a
goes.
second. I'll get your menu
Do I
in a
have to roll acrobatics for this?
second. No.
Okay.
You're a cool mech pilot. You can climb up on a destroyed mech. That's sick. Oh, yeah. No, all
Cool
yours.
factor.
Step forward onto. I like that you can hand Redhead the keys still, even though you're not in the mech, if you wanted to.
It's so useful.
Elias says,
Um,
I would rather you not approach.
and I'd rather talk to a human being rather than a faceless machine. So let's talk.
Oh, certainly. Well, I'm so glad you offered to talk. I believe that we have much to discuss. I'm very impressed with your efforts so far. I do mean all of them, not just those here. I believe that in the interest of mutual understanding and respect, you all should be aware that there is a 3-hour timer on this conversation. Apologies, 3 hours and 6.5 minutes. In 3 hours and 6.5 minutes, or thereabouts, the Hammer of Certainty shall arrive. The battleship of House of Stone's navy, containing my betrothed, shall arrive. Upon such time, she will expect to find me here in good health, and will be displeased should she find something else. I am informing you now of this, that this may be a lucrative conversation for us all, with a mutual understanding of perhaps our needs and requirements. Do I make myself inescapably clear?
Bookkeeper's gonna rub his temples and just sort of mutter to himself, just, oh, good lord, how insecure can you get? Yes, you have many guns and more on the way. Now, what do you want?
Oh no, perhaps I've been misunderstood. If I am not in the way, those guns will arrive without guidance and with a very displeased young woman at their head, who is rather poor at emotional self-regulation. Thusly, for everyone's sake, it would be good if I arrived relatively intact. If I was relatively intact upon her arrival.
I mean, none of us were planning on fighting you.
And I'm so glad to hear that. I just like to make assurances.
Appreciate how forthcoming you are currently.
What I want is the throne which I have earned by right of combat.
Bookkeeper's gonna interrupt him and just bark out a laugh.
And yet, it is to the final blow. Not to disrespect your excellent skill with the blade, you handled my father most admirably.
Again, what do you want?
Percy's just gonna step next to you in his mech. At that, he is. It's a fucking crazy thing. What I want is a effortless transition into my ascension to the throne, and one which will be at its minimally affected by the, let us say, proclivities that might prevent a profitable rulership of some of those present.
Talking about me, isn't he?
Speaking of when we're able to, like, to go in just to help class warfare up and then move up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, before we do that,
What are you gonna do with the man? He has surrendered.
can I, I'm gonna say, give me your gun.
Yeah, it should be on the ground, right?
Yep.
You can
Okay.
just grab it, I assume.
I'm gonna grab it, and I'm gonna chuck it out of the back.
Yep.
Get out of here, you stupid gun.
Sometimes what you do with guns, you just get them away.
Leave. Get out of here. And then Fashion's gonna thank Alma.
Happy to help.
Are you gonna
think
tie
that-
up the man, or are you gonna?
Do we have things to do that with?
Yeah, I don't have rope. I don't
You
just
don't
like
just
keep...
keep rope.
No, I don't just keep rope inside of my machine.
Thank you, size 1/2 SSC player, for this. Levels in Black Witch when?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna. I don't have.
No,
Any-
Could I harden, and I can't harden nanites like that.
I mean, I picked up someone with nanites and carried them around.
I mean, I don't have another compartment, so it would feel a little bit mechanically.
That's fair. That's fair.
You can grapple civilian.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but if you grab someone with your mecha and you don't have the grabber arms, it's like actively not necessarily
Even if you're
healthy
using
for
Ferris
them.
Lash?
No, but that's not a permanent solution, right? That's for
That's
tugging.
fair.
That's
That's
not for
fair.
holding.
And like, I remember my customized thing was that my mech could go and like take shapes, right, to like form a bivouac or something like that, but that wouldn't really be applicable here.
I just shut down my mech and lock him inside, and then go into somebody else's mech. Doesn't Percy have a? Doesn't Percy have like a size 1/2 compartment?
He would.
I don't know if we want to be down a mech.
Yeah, because I joined him in this mech.
I
It's your turn.
mean, yeah, I could go do that. It's my turn. Yeah.
Everyone's down a mech. That's
We
not
would
true.
be down a mech, but also I don't want to fight this man.
I'm just saying, like, depending on what they say, we don't know that a fight will be unavoidable. Admittedly, this does not look good, and, like, Omo isn't suicidal, so, you know.
Hey,
I think Bastion is going to do the thing. He's gonna go get out and he's gonna message. He's gonna like comms Percy and be like, "Can I get in your mech?"
some of the rear row of Death's Heads turn to face the other direction.
Okay, my one other question is, we're sure that he can't just turn the mech back on?
I mean, if
You hear Percy like, yes, of course. Please allow him. And then over like the like shared comms with the team just says, please allow him to continue, and steps back here to you, Bastion.
he doesn't have a license level in it. So
Yeah,
I'm going to assume no.
I mean you could smash the on button, make it non-functional.
Oh.
Do that.
Or you could just take the keys. The keys. Like a normal.
Yeah,
Or
you
we
could
could just
take the-
cut his arms and legs off.
There's
if we
probably,
really have
I would bet there's keys to your robot. That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna just hop out. I'm gonna take the keys, hop out, like lock the mech, and then go over to Percy's mech and climb inside.
Yeah. Yep. Percy like just welcomes you in with an arm. And he says, I am sorry to include you in whatever comes next.
You hugged her off.
Did we leave water in there though?
Did we leave water? Did we forget to crack the window?
Bastion, if there's any liquid in there, it's like a monster energy.
Oh no.
Perfect. Nailed it.
Give the augur. Maybe if we give him a monster energy, he won't be blue anymore. I don't know why
Whatever
that
is
would
in there.
happen, but the
Everyone-
chemicals in it.
Everyone over
Would-
here hears heavy footfalls coming towards you through the mist.
Uh-oh.
And there's those death's heads right that changed face the other direction. And out of the mist. Hey, remember that broadcast from earlier with the Union Liberation Team?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here
I'm so
they
excited.
are.
Oh
it's,
shit.
It's clear from their plating that they have taken the Tokugawa over here is like clearly very warm. There's singeing around some of those vents. There are like machine gun pockmarks. You see one of the the House of Kings archers fire those like long metal rods. There's one or two. There's like two or three of those rods like sticking out of parts of the Iskander in the back. And they approach up the lawn, and their leader in the Raleigh says, "This is Union Liberation Team Rosewater. You will tell your troops to stand down." And Elias just goes, without turning around, Elias goes, right on time. "Hello and welcome." And George just gestures them behind. "It's so nice to meet you, my friends." And they sort of pause and they clock like the Lord of Kings mech that's not moving, and the line of death's heads, and the other strike team, and the Tokugawa just goes, "Hey!" and points up his the Tokugawa's like the flaming swords that are made of like heat vents, right? Points his sword up towards everyone and goes, "Hey, what the hell's going on?" Someone have an answer to what the hell's going on?
We were just discussing that.
Our good friend here just committed regicide.
It might conclude that this is an internal matter, says the lead of the strike team. And again, without looking, Elias, you see the loader on the regicide cannon click into place. And Elias says, "I do believe one might call it an internal matter." It's still it's over his shoulder. He hasn't pointed at anyone. He says, "I do believe you might consider it an internal matter." And the leader of Team Rosewater says, "We require you to call whosever troops those are to stand down. There have been enough consequences for the people you are supposed to protect today." And Elias says, "Oh, certainly. Let me just make a call, and I would like you," and he sort of gestures at all of you with the cannon, like it's not a threat directly, and he says, "I would like you to figure out, perhaps discuss amongst yourselves, what you want from me. My goal is for this to go as painlessly as possible. The question is what you want from me. And I told you that timer because when that timer runs out, your bargaining position will be different. And I would hate for you to feel that you missed the opportunity. And Elias is gonna Elias comms turns off. So you start he's clearly making calls to the rest of the house guard to inform them of what the situation is. How you doing, team?
Doing
think-
good.
I think a good option. I think one of the demands should be to allow people inside the dome for safety, which I know is like a current. It's not a long-term plan, but
I mean, that should be a given.
yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely also just deploying House Guard, right, to combat the Maw. That's just a given. I don't think that's actually something we should take into a concession there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we can obviously reason as such. As far as things that we're going to have to trade for... I don't know, thoughts?
Quick aside, can we rope Team Rosewater in our comms?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all yours.
Standard Union encrypted comm channel invites.
Of course, all yours. Oh yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
When able, would definitely like to ask him just what's the situation outside looking like?
Yeah.
We have found it necessary to intervene. We did not realize this was an internal matter, though.
It's an internal matter with dire consequences and some significant repercussions, and also note that not all internal elements are in alignment here.
I think Bastion over Percy's comp just says, "Thank you for your help. It's been much needed."
Just sort of like a quiet, a very deep voice. You hear the Iskander pilot just say, "There were too many. We are sorry we did not arrive sooner. We would have if it was within our power."
We act with what we have and what we know. Can't ask for anything more.
We've been able to handle everything up until now. You came just in the nick of time. Alright. So the refugees being let in, a truce inside the dome to hopefully ensure their safety, allowing them to stay here until the threat of the Maw is expunged from the planet, which, depending on how much they know about it, they might be a long-term thing. So maybe the immediate threat of the Maw being expunged should be our...
I mean, again, I feel like that is a given. If they want to have a planet to rule, they have to respond.
3-year plan to end all coerced labor on planet.
Yeah.
I should also say, the team, right, they have all the information that we had submitted, right, about the forced labor here, people being, kept against their will inside the domes.
Let's say again?
The team here, they have all the information, right, that we'd submitted about there being forced labor, people being kept against their will inside the domes.
Yes, they do.
Okay. So they understand, right, that whatever situation comes out of this, if the pillars are to be upheld, these policies must change. So we can at least rely on their sort of support there to leverage, for those demands at least.
Most definitely.
My coerced labor also includes withholding things like housing, food, and water from people.
I say we push for a faster timetable on that and step it up because we have Union backing us here.
All right. That sounds great. How far can we push it?
I mean, I'd say maybe a year to 6 month timetable, something like that. Obviously,
Okay.
letting people know the situation and, stopping the labor immediately, but just getting them set up with housing, getting them moved out of the domes and whatnot, establish where their careers and all that. Like, the
Elias.
forced labor itself ends immediately, though.
Elias is going to say, "Ah, pardon me. Thank you for your patience. Some of the house guard seemed unsure, so needed to be informed of the imminent truth of their prosecution should their crimes against this world's people continue. Thank you for helping keep them in line, my Union allies." Nelson Pilot's going to just reload their revolver and say, "I am happy to help, Crown Prince." And I says, "Well, this has been a productive. I hope you've had a productive time. The question is, are you willing to negotiate with me? Let's start simple, shall we? I understand that some of your revolutionary ideals may balk at me continuing to hold power, so let's make the question simple. Do you feel that it is unacceptable for me to reclaim the throne? Let's be honest with each other in this moment."
I think Bastion's gonna say, I mean, I would prefer if you didn't, but I am
DM
willing to
question.
compromise.
Oh, sorry.
DM question.
Is the king's sword or any
Kinda
physical
lose
piece of
them.
his office still corporeal?
Not really.
Damn. So I can't actually say anything along the lines of, in order to take power, you actually have to put your hands on it and
Oh, by the way, it's the specific rules of House of Kings are that it is by right of combat, specifically whoever has slain the king.
Oh, okay.
Alliance
it was
didn't want
really
you to
totally
stab with a
symbolic.
sword, and also was not going to risk you accidentally killing him in a cluttered heap, because that simply would not do.
You could have been king. That's crazy.
Today's Blue Ribbon Award for Almost King goes to.
Is there a court-appointed therapist? Because that would have some definite feelings attached to it.
Yeah. Elias says, "Well, I know at least if one of you is willing to find a point of cooperation. So, let's cooperate. I am not opposed to your Republicanist ideals. I simply don't think we're ready. At least one of you was on Sanjak, I believe."
Yeah, I'm just gonna go and move up.
Is Percy gonna move up, or
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just don't have control of that mech, so I'm not gonna grab it.
That's so valid.
Almost just gonna respond. Yes, I was there, and I recognize that this is not Sanjak. No one of us, I think, should get to decide the fate of this world, and I would happily enter negotiations mediated by Union.
While I respect Union's negotiating process, and I understand your concerns, again, our time is short. Do you
I
know
understand.
who was responsible for the blockade of your world?
I mean, any number of different houses had an interest in it.
Oh, certainly. But
There
the
was no lack of
sponsor
political
themselves was
will.
House of Stone.
Mm-hmm.
I do not mean this as a slight against you. It is simply the tool we had available, as it were. Not, of course, that she's a tool, an excellent woman, I'm sure, and quite
Look, you don't need to keep
affable.
talking here, and honestly, it would serve you better to not.
This is great.
Just, I'm happy to
You're gonna feel
negotiate.
the casualty snipers marks.
I'm happy to negotiate. Let that be enough.
Just gonna
Certainly.
go ahead and move forward one space and hopefully steal one of those nice, nifty sniper's marks for myself, if that's okay.
Just in your body? Or with the whole neck? Elias says, you will step back or this will not go well for you.
Hey, let's just calm down. Let's just take a breath.
Bookkeeper is going to spread his meat arms and go, please relax already. We know you have the upper hand.
And I
it's
will happily relax from a safe distance.
Now let's talk.
Let's talk.
You-
From a safe distance. I hold great respect for you and your competence, and would not like things to escalate. So you'll be stepping back now.
How clearly
Because I hold you in respect, I do not make idle threats.
Yeah, like, there's no need to antagonize anybody here.
Then step back.
Yeah, on the subject of antagonizing people, the sniper's marks are out of hand.
I know, but he wants us to step back, and there's no need to step forward here.
I mean, the sniper's marks suck. I don't like that.
Well, then I'll happily give you a break should you step back. This does not need to be antagonistic if you don't make it antagonistic. I, again, am more than happy to compromise with you. And I
Look,
tell
his
you this
ego needs
time limit
this,
because
okay.
I wish to allow you to feel satisfied that you achieved your negotiating goals.
His ego needs this one. Just step back.
Gonna have Red Hen let go of the Mac and step back.
That's so valid. That's so real. That's so real. Good cover placement. Thank you. I apologize for being so strict, but I'm afraid. And you see, half the sniper's marks get removed. He says, "I apologize for being so strict. I'm afraid this next bit must go according to plan. There cannot be any interruptions." Now,
Yes,
as I was saying, you are familiar with my brother's chosen, as it were. And here you feel you see Percy's whole body like a knot of muscles, just like his shoulders just squeezed together a little bit.
I think Bastion will just put an arm on his put a hand on his arm.
And Percy just gently places his hand on yours and tries to steady his breathing. And Elias says, "Because my brother showed, well, frankly, what I first believed was disinterest, was incompetence, but I now understand to be a healthy disinterest, followed by making quite excellent friends. I am very impressed with you, brother. Well, quite simply, I had to make secondary arrangements. I'm sure some of you were noticing my communications that night at the club. And so it was my role as well to secure us funding and support. Freeze out. I shall use your call sign in this moment. Freeze out, do you have an answer to the question I asked you? This is what I wish to negotiate with you all about.
Like my first answer, I think that the best thing to do with power is find the most effective and peaceful means to disperse it so that there's no power vacuum. You control who has it next. And overall, things are less likely to end up in bloody battlefields of burnt down houses.
I would agree. I think perhaps you gained the misconception that I sought power for power's sake, or that I am some aimlessly scheming noble, so allow me to make it clear I am a much baser creature than perhaps you all give me credit for. I have one interest in the throne, and it is survival. This world is not ready to support itself or its people. My father has. My father and his, shall we say, guiding hand have propagated many lies about our ability to protect and sustain ourselves while we sat in the lap of luxury and power. And I know how those favors were drying up. My only interest in the throne is to ensure our continued survival. And the ceiling explodes.
Ho!
Yeah?
Oh.
And just like a chunk of the of the dome ceiling is torn away, and the honored wing comes like crashing down through it.
Yo!
Lands perfectly, like cut his way through. Lands perfectly beside them in that, like, the honored wing does an honest to goodness superhero landing.
Yeah, that man's
And like
beefy
flutters
and
his
crazy.
feathers. He's like refreshed the plating on his wings. And he says, "Stand and account, monster." Why it's
Hey,
just size.
hey, we're negotiating. Everyone, let's chill.
The one previously making decisions is indisposed.
All of them are monsters by right of their birth and by right of their deeds.
Hey, that's
Do you know how many of us fought and died for this world? And they burned it to ash that they might reclaim it. And now they sit in their false... His voice cracks. He says, they sit in their false thrones, and they destroy my people for their own ends. 13 months. And you see him pause, take a breath in, and he says, I have been a wing of the albatross. 13 months of subjective time. I liberated this my homeworld, in my subjectivity, a mere 13 months ago, and already I return to find this. Time is cruel, but I will not let these monsters' cruelty continue. He unsheathed his claws.
I think Bastion, over comms says, I understand your anger. But the situation we're in, if we do not make compromises, will hurt more of our people.
Almost is going to speak up. I'm not sure if you understand the political situation that this planet would find itself in if it were to execute all its royalty and rebel.
Bookkeeper's gonna yell, hold on, they're holding the planet hostage, a battle cruiser's inbound. We have to deal with their unreasonable demands before we're going to, before we can do anything hasty.
Oh,
But
please send more of them.
I should say your presence does certainly help in terms of negotiations. And I want this on a private channel if possible. I do want to say that this isn't the end of the fight for this world.
No.
Is
However,
Elias
he's
going
going
to
pause, and he says, I understand the turning of time, and I respect your thoughts. And you can hear the tears running down his face when he speaks. He says, perhaps the horrors have blinded me to what is right. I shall take your guidance for now.
Thank you, sir.
Just on a private channel, so no, you are right. It's just the world doesn't allow for it right now.
And he steps back in line with the Union team. The Tokugawa pilot is like, are you from the fucking Albatross? Dude!
The Tokugawa pilot and Bastion could be good friends, I believe.
Yeah.
Is Elias going to make any response to the very loudly yelled assertion that he's holding the planet hostage with a battle cruiser?
Elias got really quiet, and he says, I never implied I was anything other than a monster. I am the monster we need to survive. No, let's take a moment to explain. Power is an ugly thing. Its realities are sickening and exhausting and frustrating, and its acquisition and enforcement require the commitment of great atrocity.
Bookkeeper's gonna speak up and just like, the longer you talk, the less I think that handing this world over to you is a good idea. Your ideals could be something that could be productive for anyone, but you're too damn afraid of losing control and too marked by the sins of the people you see around you to do what you know is right, and just let go a little bit. Power's only an ugly thing if you fight over it and there's not enough to go around.
And
This
yet,
planet,
we stand on the brink of starvation. That ship brings my people the food they need to live.
and yet all you mention are its guns. We want the people of this world to survive. We don't want to fight you. But you're so caught up in keeping control of things that you're looking past what we could do to help you have your people survive. That's what we want too.
Then perhaps allow me to make my negotiating position clearer. Allow me to provide an offer that perhaps you will be more satisfied with. For if I take the throne only to be fought tooth and nail, it will not improve our situation in a way that matters. Here is my offer. I am marked by the sins of my family. He is right to call me a monster. I do not want that for my brother nor my people. I need to be proven. I suppose what I'm seeking is an assurance, then, that if I take the throne... I pause because, I always wrote a speech for this, but words are failing me in this moment. And you hear another row of bounding footsteps.
Oh my god.
There's too many people. This situation keeps getting more volatile.
That's what you say to our good friend Charlotte?
I'm not against our good friend Charlotte. I'm just like, there's so many people.
Yeah, and there's so many enemies.
Problem isn't the enemies on the board, it's the looming threat above us of not
the orbital
getting
strike.
people food. Yeah. Well, even less than more than that. It's the looming threat of starvation, which we actually can't fight.
No, we cannot. None of us can.
And
Very yeah.
The rising star that shatters the heavens rides up alongside like you see unnamed with their cockpit swung open, and Shifa just like one arm around her shoulder.
Oh my god.
Like foot up on the side of the mech.
Oh my god. They're gonna kiss. I can't believe they kiss.
And Spite like teleports in behind them, and Rising Star like salutes the Honored Wing and the Union team and says, "Sorry I'm late, family stuff," in that same like garbled Warhorn voice. Elias says, "As I was saying, I approached you with the language of diplomacy and hard lines and firearms because it is the one I expected you to speak to me. Perhaps, yet again, I have underestimated you. Would that not be a treasure?" And he smiles to himself. How the Duskwings are realigning themselves further, right? Just to face the other way. He says, "I do not want to fight you, nor am I willing to imagine the devastation should she open fire upon this world. It would be unacceptable to me. I made it available only as a possibility that we might begin this negotiation, this conversation." You see the gun is finally finished respooling, but he doesn't seem committed upon anyone he says. "Let us talk then, if we are to talk as friends and allies, of how we would turn this world into one that may stand on its own, that someday it may not be a place that requires monsters such as I, and that the stain of my sins may be removed. What would you do? Given your excellent negotiating position, thank you, by the way. He actually looks back at all the people standing behind him. He says, thank you, by the way, for improving their negotiating position. I worry that they may have underestimated the amount of concessions they could receive before. What would you do with power were it laid before you?
Make sure everyone had houses and food.
Make sure the pillars are upheld.
To the best of my capacity. And may it improve ever further.
A publicly elected body as well for ratifying laws, or at least suggesting them for approval by the king.
More difficult. I fear that my dearest fiancé may be displeased by such openly Republicanist sentiment, but certainly something that can be in the works, as it were.
And I would say, along with that, this would just make sense, right? We need to ensure that the public is educated on, right, these rights and the pillars themselves. Of course, the schools must be improved if we're to have an informed public.
An interesting selection. I had not considered it, but I suppose the nature of time, it seems only right that my people become stronger and better and more capable in themselves each passing year.
Easier access. Oh, sorry.
Appreciate assistance in that.
Easier access to college for ignobles.
Acceptable. If this becomes a place of learning, perhaps it shall be seen as more valuable. It is dawning on Strike Team Rosewater exactly what they have walked in on, and they are here to help. They are. You just see the leader of Strike Team Rosewater shift uncomfortably, and she's like, hey, this is when we were talking about internal matters, we're really not supposed to dictate the terms of a coup. That seems like it would be a lot of paperwork and also a decades-long scandal, and people will be really unhappy.
You can, I think...
it's not that verbal. You just see the discomfort. Tokugawa pilot fucking ready, bro.
I think Bastion at Elias saying yes to that gets very visibly excited.
I know that it has affected some of you personally, and I understand that my methods have come off as perhaps dismissive. I find a lack of surety in the positive resolution of these goals unacceptable. And perhaps the need for guidance and control is that the failings I experienced shall never happen again to another.
I think Bastion over the radio just quietly says, I don't think you're a monster. I don't think that your father or your grandmother's actions define who you are.
Your feedback is appreciated. It's like the quiet, like, text response. Elias says, well, that is a tall order of business. I shall need a cabinet. If any of you are so interested, perhaps, Pendleton, a specialization. What do you look for, require? Pen.
Yeah, I know.
Remember forever ago, when your characters started on this, they had asked contact because they wished to travel the globe doing cool spec ops stuff for Union. And now you're being offered like this very... sounds kind of like stodgy political position.
Yeah.
Where do your goals lie now that all of this has happened? Where do your allegiances lie?
I mean, I wanted to leave partially just because everything sucked and I saw no hope. Because sometimes the situation's bad and your actions cannot change it, and it is actually good and healthy to leave. That isn't the case anymore. I think I'm stuck here a little longer.
The Honored Wing appears to just be thinking, literally drawing his claw across like the chin of his frame. He might have a subjectivity to sweet. It's a little unclear. Spite is just locked in firing position.
I think Bastion is excitedly telling Percy that he's gonna get to go to college with him.
It's so cute.
That's so cute. Percy chuckles and he says, yes? This all seems much too easy, in a way. Perhaps I had underestimated him as well, but differently.
I think Bastion just goes, I mean, a win's a win. I'm not gonna double check it.
And you just hear Spite broadcast just deafeningly loud, where is he?
Oh.
And teleport up to here, which is past the line of safety.
Bookkeeper's gonna
For
broadcast.
Elias and several of the Duskwings just lock on.
Can I interrupt real quick?
Oh yeah.
Bookkeeper, as quickly as he can, is going to send under no uncertain terms that the augur is shit. Okay, real quick, out of character. Where's the farthest away believable secure point?
What does that mean?
That means if we were to store the augur, what's somewhere far enough away that's believable that we... It's not far enough away to delay Spike for a second while we can smooth things over, and also close enough that she'll believe that we actually stowed him there.
I love this. I mean, I don't know. That's your lie. You get to make that up. Well, you just have to keep her busy for 2 hours.
No. Well, you have to keep her busy until we can talk to Elias about not turning this into a fucking bloodbath on account of one person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna roll stay cool about that to just immediately feed her a lie.
Yeah, go for it. With accuracy. With 2 levels of accuracy.
Sure? That's a +8. Alright, with accuracy.
Listen.
That's a 33.
Here's the thing, you have... Sorry, you can hold your 33 and let me know, but I will say, with the 2 levels of accuracy, that is her trust in the lot of you. And if you lie to her, it will go fucking down. And there might be consequences. Would you like to use your 33?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No hesitation. People need to not die right now.
Are you going to tell her that it's a safe house? That it's... Are you going to tell her that you're keeping him for later?
I've been in these fields before. What's the highest density of outhouses?
Of outhouses?
Yeah, and any given, like, we've got hamlets, right?
Yeah, but, like, not great. We got, like, maybe 2 Hamlet-sized, like... Because remember, we're, like, it's big, but it's not, like, huge.
Oh, 100%. I just need, like, a couple close enough together that I can send her on a wild goose chase checking out houses to try and find where we tied the auger up.
Heinous.
I mean, here's a thought also. Just give the auger to them.
She's going to kill him. We need him.
She's going to kill him
I
dead.
mean, we don't
She's
actually
gonna fucking kill his ass.
Oh,
do we
She's
need
gonna
him,
kill
though?
his ass through class warfare.
But here's the thing. Do we need him?
Yeah.
Why?
But we could get. What if we gave him to? Well, it would make Contact happy if we gave him over.
It would make Contact happy, but do we need to make Contact happy in that way, right? Like, what?
No, but
What do we
Bastion wants
need
to make
from
his
him?
dad
I
proud.
need his information. Unfortunately, he knows so goddamn much. But let's put it to a vote. Let's put it to a vote. All 3 of you, what's your vote? Should we kill or spare Father Demakusu?
I say hand him over.
You say
I think-
hand him over.
I think we should spare him.
Okay. Freeze out?
I think Freeze Out is away at the moment.
Freeze out needs to not be away at the moment.
Elias in the background is going to say, I believe that question, well, not up to me, may be a matter of discussion for your friends. And Spider's just going to say, I am sick of taking orders from generals, sycophants, and kings.
Bookkeeper's gonna just wave. It's just like, over here, buddy. We have him.
Spider's going to physically teleport across the line that Elias thought was secure.
Just over private comms right now. Look, we can try to convince them not to kill him, but I think maintaining trust is the best. And if they choose to go through with it and we fail, I feel like that's an acceptable consequence.
Yeah.
Freeze out, you have the tiebreaker vote. Do we hand the auger over to the very angry lady who's most certainly going to kill him, or do we break trust with her, send her on a wild goose chase, and try to keep the auger for
But there's a
debrief
where we try to convince her not to kill the auger.
I'm not willing to break trust with her. She's
my friend.
And I feel like it could come back to bite us in the ass real hard later,
I was just gonna say powerful and full of anger, and that's a dangerous combination. But yes, she's also friends.
Fucks up, she will die here.
Yeah, that would be sad.
You do see some of the heads like scamper when she teleports across them.
Yeah,
I can try convincing her. We got a rapport.
I don't think that the Death's Head will kill her for killing the auger. I think that it would be nice if the auger survived. But I'm not willing to fight that hard for it.
And the leader of Team Rosewater levels their autocannon and says, "Who does she mean?" And Elias just sort of tilts his head sideways and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. This was my gift to you, as it is my planet and my family's quarry. But they have so kindly acquired for me a second committee defector who wreaked havoc on our world, and it was certainly all their decisions, not my family's, as he cruelly twisted my father's mind, to commit the acts of atrocity that you have seen on this fine day."
Thank you, Elias, for opening your mouth. We need to keep him alive at all costs.
We would like it if he were able to stand trial for his crimes. He has important information about what was done to this planet, and also, he's one of the few survivors of the crime that was committed against the people who were on the ship who came here.
Bastion, bless your pure and noble heart. That was the worst possible thing you could have said.
And the Iskander pilot just falls into a fighting stance and says, "He's what?" And she sort of like, you see her frame like rumble and the lights light up across her frame, and she says, "He's what?"
You heard correctly.
So, quick break time out of character. I gotta talk to y'all. You get the implication of Augur Dev. Oh, yes.
Oh no, please give me one moment.
Are you? I mean, who are you asking? Yes.
Just generally the table, because if we keep him alive, we have a witness and somebody who can testify that culpability does fall on the House of Kings, which makes him an incredibly useful bargaining chip. However, the best way to hide him will be to have Spite take him behind the shed, shoot him, and dispose of the body, and say that we have him in an undisclosed location.
What was the second bit?
Okay, he is a very valuable a bargaining chip because he can testify that the House of Kings was complicit in the war crimes, and they cannot just say, "Oh, it was Secom, we're blameless, we don't have to do reparations." Meaning
Okay, go on. Yeah.
that all we have to do is say that we have him, and we can hold him over their heads as a point of leverage. This also means that he doesn't technically have to be alive. He just has to be. He has to be believably, possibly alive somewhere. If he's dead, they'll never find him, and we won't have to spend the resources keeping him in line.
Here's an idea. So, and also, Rattle, tell me how viable this is. You know, this might just be outside the bounds of my character's capacity to do in the game, but can I theoretically copy his consciousness, make a homunculus, a digital homunculus of him?
I think Rattle's headphones died.
Oh no.
Gives us time to plan. How would you do? You have equipment on hand?
So I do have a subjectivity enhancement suite, and I theoretically could, try to roll a let's see, what would I actually roll for that? A hack? Or no, I'd roll a create roll for that.
Sorry.
Hmm?
You want to flay his neurons and take every scrap of personality and memory from him.
I do have a spare NHP drive, right, that I could potentially store that on. As I can go ahead and just have Baz inhabit my body for a bit.
If you have a flash scanner, that might work.
Sorry, can we repeat that? My headphones died.
Okay. So possibility, depending on if Rattle says it is okay to try and roll for this, of creating a digital homunculus of the augur.
What does that mean?
Breaking every single union pillar and wresting his consciousness from his physical form into a data backup. Just dumping the whole thing, personality and all, in there to be cracked later.
Why don't we just keep him alive and try and convince her not to kill him?
And also, we can still use him as a scapegoat after he's dead. It's
100%.
not like that possibility goes away.
I'm saying, right, if it's clear that, okay, we failed in stopping, them from killing him, right, we can go and say, hey, this could be even worse, right? You want to go ahead and, make it even more painful?
How so? What are you saying to make it more painful? Sorry.
Oh, I mean, I don't imagine this process is going to be pleasant in any way, shape, or
Oh, so
form.
as if he is dying, try to extract everything you can from his brain.
Exactly, and just
process?
offer this as a hey, this is a way to go ahead and accomplish your goal of killing him, and also our goal of retaining his information and using it for our leverage.
I
It
mean,
would put such a blatant violation of human rights would put using him as a bargaining chip and leverage it would compromise it because he can't testify.
We need any more bargaining chips.
Yes, we need every bargaining chip we can fucking get.
Well, I mean, we just have.
I'm willing to lose the bargaining chip in the event that she ends up killing him. It's like not ideal, but it's fine.
All right. Then all that needs to happen is right now if she's told where she is, she will tear open class warfare and kill him.
I mean, we can just.
Why
Can
don't
I attempt to convince her not to?
Are you going to get yourself killed in the process?
No.
Okay. Um, going on a wild goose chase, hiding / disposing of the auger, and then dealing with her.
I feel like
at
that's
the
a
end of my
situation where quite literally everyone loses.
And like I don't know our capacity to deal with her without the potential for violence or that spiraling, right? Because if she loses trust and starts working against whatever new sort of government comes out of this, right? We've got like a rogue militant cell that we don't have any say in or control, and that's a bad, bad thing.
I think
She-
that
Here's the thing: do you want Bastion leading a militant cell, or do you want her leading a militant cell? I don't think he would be leading a militant cell, but like, do you want the leader of the revolution to be her or Bastion?
So, if she loses control here, the worst that can happen if we get a word in with Elias is that we both kill her. Right
I mean,
here,
but
right
that
now.
sucks.
Yes, it does. It also means that the situation remains under control. We keep a bargaining chip, and we get rid of a unpredictable and frankly troublesome.
No, I'm
Look,
straight out.
there's a
I'm not
point
going
at
to do
which
that.
the ends cannot justify the means, right? We can't go about killing people because they're inconvenient if they haven't done anything wrong themselves.
This is also a player conversation because I would
Oh,
never
yeah.
say that. In
Okay,
game.
yeah.
I'm just the best way and like what I see, what paths I possibly see happening.
Yeah,
action going forward is respond to her query of where he is with our plans for him.
yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
I'm
what
going
we
to
do.
attempt to convince her.
I
don't
think
I have the best relationship with her,
I
I
think-
believe.
yeah, I think that responding with where he is first is a non-starter.
No, not going to
Yeah.
do that. Bastion,
I think
not the smartest cookie, but not that dumb.
I think that the best plan of action is to make her engage in conversation about how he is going to hurt and be held accountable and how he does not have power.
Yeah.
And I think
And
that if
also, I
we
have Cass
lean
in my
in-
mech, and she
Yeah,
likes Cass, and I can use
and I-
Cass to convince her.
I think that if you and Cass work together to talk to her, I do genuinely think that it will be fine.
Yeah.
I think that losing both her and the false augur is like the worst option. I would rather keep her of the two of them.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. That's where I'm at.
It's like also the auger dying right now, very cathartic. We earned it as a treat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, wouldn't I think it's more delicious if we have to watch him go on trial and extended. I think extended
Hello, everyone. Uh-huh. I mean, they would likely request extradition as he is a surviving high-ranking member of Second Committee. Right. Also, hi, I'm back. Thank you for your patience. So, Elias says my Union allies, because Elias is actually very down for having Union allies, unlike the previous government. There are a lot of reasons why actually it was all this evil man's fault and he's from Union is a really convenient narrative for Elias. The reason why that's the narrative he just gave to Union. Spite's gonna grow. I am sick of tools they can use to excuse themselves. And sort of rumbling in the background, you just hear the Iskander pilot go, "That man will not be excused." I assure you. Elias is feeling twitchy about the amount that he is losing control of the situation. Yeah, yeah. Spite's gonna level the assault rifle at your fragile meat body. Hey, bookkeeper, you're like fully aware very much of like the tip of that bayonet. And she just growls, "Oh, you're trying to make deals for me now, are you, kid?" Yeah, what's your message? What was that? Dozer, what was your message? She doesn't move, and bookkeeper, you see the just cold, unmoving face of that frame, glowing that kind of like unsettling green. And she just rolls. Her arm just comes up and she just tosses the assault rifle over one shoulder, and her whole posture shifts to be much more casual, and she goes, "Listen, kid, I think you make some good deals. I learned a thing or two. I'll happily keep an eye on him for you." Thank you for reminding me to come back from my anger. And she takes that step, and she's next to Percy, and she goes, "You kids are all right." Elias says, "I believe we've gotten a little bit off topic. He's having his Dragon Ball Z abridged pay attention to me moment. Listen, we all got it sometimes. Right, exactly. Like, excuse me? Fucking what? He says, "As I was saying, yes, my Union allies, with our, and he, thinking from him, goes, with our appointed chaperone, I would happily, help shepherd this man into your care if he were to stand a joint trial. I'm sure that the people of this world have many deserved slights against him." And the Union leader says, "I," like the Raleigh pilot, like the point lead for Team Rosewater, just like, "I didn't know that was available." Just like, she's like utterly confused. And Shifa, like, not right on the shoulder of this size 1/2 frame, right? And this giant field of walking machines standing just a person without without a mech of her own, without an armor suit. Just says, "And what of these people? We have education, we have homes. How are we going to make that happen? Because broad strokes are all well and good, but when they're not promises, we've seen how that goes before." And she squeezes a named shoulder a little bit. Just from across the field, "You're fucking right." Oh, that was unnamed. Listen, there's many people in this room who will shout, "You're fucking right." Eli says, funnily enough, I believe we've already... Your friends have already helped wager on the house's behalf, as has my dear brother. Are you familiar with the Carrion Company? I believe they shall be hard at work in their new business of real estate construction. Fascinating decision, brother. And Percy, like, pauses. Says, and you see the rising star that shatters the heavens, and you see the like hydraulic fist piston like pump and a layer of steam as it locks back into place, and she says, "What?" In whose company have you placed these people? You let these people into my home. She's gonna step forward, and a bunch of the sniper's marks are going to lock onto her. And she sighs and she says, "Don't make me regret this, or I'll make sure you regret this. I need to take a step away." And turns and just steps away from the field. I says, "Well, it seems we're doing all kinds of business today. Oddly personal, how matters of policy tend to be, isn't it? So, I believe we've made a good progress on that timer, as it were." "Oh, certainly. My word is binding as the king, and should I break my word with no acceptable substitutes to my action, I shall abdicate the throne immediately." Besides, perhaps one day my brother will not even need to take the throne. Who knows what may come of it? But in the meanwhile, certainly a cabinet position. What will each of you do upon this new world that you wish to create? Please, I do wish to know your itinerary, that I may assist you in it. yes, you may find her support rather effective in the striking and point removal portions of that. I did not know to what end the augure's reference to a coming storm meant, but I supposed that perhaps the acquisition of additional orbital munitions might be helpful, whatever the case may be. I appreciate the addition of our Union allies in removing the blight upon our world that they so tragically left us, despite their best efforts. And he's gonna actually like look at them and gesticulate to them, and like leader of Team Rosewater shifts uncomfortably, and he says, but I'm sure returning with such a quarry would make them heroes. All you want is for me to pledge to improve the lot of my people, something fully within my power. Oh, certainly. My audience chamber is ever open. In fact, do you know the secret truths of the leaders of this universe? One being cannot actually guide all of those hands. A leader is, as they are perceived and experienced, only the sum of the advisors around them. I don't know that I got an answer, but to be sure, Pendleton, would you be one of those hands? I would appreciate it greatly. You have already recommended at least one, I do believe. But please, do inform me. Three of 15. I am counting upon you to choose well, Pendleton. A creature stained with sin such as I should not have sole jurisdiction, perhaps. Elias will laugh and he just says, and I'm sure it will be very productive for someone. He is. Sorry, I wasn't ready for he's one of those, because like, yeah. Yeah. Elias says, well, this has been wonderfully productive. Is there any last request? Do believe we are running a bit short of time. You're looking down like, there's still an hour left of the timer he gave you. There's still like an hour and 10 minutes of the timer he gave you. How are we running short of time? He says, these quiet moments when the anvils on the table are the best for bargaining, brother. Do remember that. Percy just holds your hand and says, I wish for a world that is deserving of you. And hold nothing else in my heart, Bastion. Oh, yes, certainly. Oh, certainly. Of course. Please allow me to make the call. And Elias just tabs away to make a phone call for a second. And you hear in the distance, you hear the doors opening. He says, and your friend, who was so distraught a moment ago, I would offer her an honorary place in my house guard to make amends for the sins of my father. She would have to, he is offering her a knighthood. He's offering her, space knight cop hood. That's what the house guard does. That's what knights are, in some way. But also, I don't know, doesn't this man seem trustworthy and like he wouldn't offer his troops to do something, order his troops to do something awful? I will happily grant you the request within my power, as right of your gracious king, grateful for your service to our world and to my family. The hero of the people who saved them when they were in direst need? Certainly not. I says, I will need to wrap up shortly. As my betrothed shall be here in approximately 6 more minutes. Well, I had prepared for negotiations to go poorly, so the 3 hours was to make you feel welcome and at home, and like you weren't pressured. There were 2. Shifa's going to say, we have never had this many chips on the bargaining table before. We didn't know it was possible. And Unnamed just poking into the chat, she thought it was possible. I knew it wasn't possible. And yet, here you are. So I guess, good for you, Cootie Patootie. And, like, Bastion, like, I can't believe you lied to me. Elias says, for the people of my home, there is nothing I would not do. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Lion says, well, I should allow the rest of you to go about your business. This has been such a productive conversation. I'll be meeting some of you shortly. Do not hesitate to contact the Office of the King if you require further confirmation. I would like to offer you all seats at the coronation should it prove to match your requirements and timing needs. You see the honor wing just grip his talons so tight one of the smaller talons shatters. Laya says, and in any case, and you see the part of the roof that Honor Wing tore his way through, right? You see just a huge shadow move to cover it. And Elias goes, my darling, it's so good to see you. Like, clearly into another call. And you hear a voice that, just goes, oh, it looks like it's been exciting around here. You know how to get me the breast presents? And Elias says, anything for you, darling. And Percy tenses and he goes, that's George's sister. Yes. I mean, he's not getting out of the mech. That's not happening. You could shoot him if he got out of the mech. That's unacceptable to him. Oh, certainly, yes. The personal stamp of the king. He does not. He did not bring tools for accurate and precise behavior. It is, because that's the thing. Oh, he would, though. He would, though. He says, darling, I have one more bit of business. If you could connect to the Albatros's network, I believe you would find them most agreeable. And you just hear her, like, cackle, and she goes, the Albatross? What have you been up to, dearest? Pardon me, I need to make a phone call. She's like, it's like those people who are, like, really into superheroes who just found out that they get to talk to superheroes. That's her response. She's a Marvel girly. I mean, Elias says, I would to assure you of my certainty, I understand the time of negotiations has passed. I will place my seal upon it. I got it ready just for you. And you hear like him like rustling around inside his cockpit. And he tells you are welcome to approach. That's funny. That's good. Hey, that's very funny. Hey, I just got it. That's very funny. Thank you. He's going to just fold all four of his like hooves into like a sitting position, and the edge of the cockpit is going to like slowly, carefully open up. He's still got the cannon like leveled at his brother's mech. Not aggressively, just being sure. And he will take the papers, and you can sort of like see him like halfway out of it, right? Lights the candle on the fresh stick of wax, and places the drops, and places his signet within it to seal it. As you right before you turn around, you just hear Elias say, "Thank you, courtier. May we find a business with which you are more comfortable someday." In like actual honest to God empathy. Because Elias recognized. It is. He gets back in and it drops. And he says, "Well, this is a wonderful time. Brother, I must go assist in the recapturing of my planet from the forces that work without. Spite, I believe you have things to discuss with your Union comrades regarding your your fresh capture, and I will make myself scarce." And Elias is going to just like casually walk down the road, just surrounded by the little scuttling feet of all of the dusk wings, and he says, "Darling, I am so excited you're here. I got this present just for you." You can't hear her response. Action to team. Low orbit? Tell me more. Tell me what are you looking for? Sword to drop. Tell me what you mean. Waiting for the sword to drop. Ah. And he needs you essentially to stop doing a rebellion, or the whole planet's gonna fall apart and people are gonna starve. No, very valid. You kind of only, you have the royal seal now. Like, that is binding in the baronies. And you also have his brother ready to take the throne should he break his word. We also have other avenues of power opening up. Congratulations on your constitutional monarchy, I think. Any civilization capable of feeding and housing its people is not doing so is a form of harm. As Elias passes the honored wing, the honored wing just the glare of death as Elias passes, and Elias doesn't have any smarmy words for him, just nods and keeps striding past. Oh yeah, you can go wherever you want. The terrifying assertion that Bastion wears Crocs. He does, that's right. I forgot. Uh-huh. Peek. Okay, I will work on that. Work on that. Give me one moment. Oh, goodness. How is everyone feeling? Do you feel like you got what you wanted? She's not gonna be happy. You're welcome to call whoever you want. We are. Yeah, you picks up almost immediately, goes, "Hey kid, y'all did a good job. I need you to pass a message for me. I'm gonna have to go to ground for a while. This isn't a job for me anymore." they're actually here now. And me being here complicates this story in a way it doesn't need to. I'm gonna hit the trail for a while. You all did this yourselves. I only helped. But they are. If I work with them, it complicates this story. It makes it seem like we had undue influence. All I did was grease the gears a little bit. So, and hear like a zipper noise, and he goes, Pen will be able to find me. And I'm gonna go quiet for a while. Maybe not forever. If you need me, you call. I'll find a way. But I know you've got this, kid. And he sort of chuckles to himself. He goes, I'm proud of you. And you hear like a metal shutter closing in the background, like a garage door. And he goes, I don't want to abandon you, but sometimes you gotta find your own path. I wish I could be there to see it. I wish when I was younger I could have been like you. And I'm so grateful that you allowed me to help. You don't need a creature like me around anyway. You've got this. And you hear like a sizzling noise as the phone breaks and the line goes dead. Oh. Percy will give you a hug. Percy's gonna give you a hug and just say, I am so glad that you're still. I'm so glad that you're okay. And Percy laughs and he says, if you didn't do things, if you always did things we expected, we wouldn't be in this position. I have learned to expect the unexpected from you. It is one of the things about you I treasure the most. And just holds you a little tighter. Pen! You calling your mom? Just the most professional, like, hello. This is the representative for the... Hello. Did he know? No. quite, she says. He's doing that thing where she doesn't quite say it. She waits for you to say it. And in the future you will. Do what? From what I hear, it would not have worked out so well without you. I am very grateful to you, Pendleton. It did. I'm afraid our relative might even be able to return home from his vacation shortly. Terrible business, that. In any case, I suppose I should thank you. Should have our investment have gone poorly, I don't believe you would have been seeing much of us. Indeed, you will be reimbursing me for the tickets. Won't you? And she chuckles to herself and she says, well then, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, darling. I have several meetings to get to. Ta-ta. And hangs up. You heard the ta-ta is like, she's saying that customer service voice. Turns out your family is going to be very well off from this situation. This day winning arc doesn't end if you don't stop winning. Let's see, who like, what else? Olmo, how are you doing? Baz kind of quietly just goes, was that cooperation? Sounded stressful. Also, can I talk to Auntie sometime? I just feel like we have a lot of things to discuss. She just seems very free of she doesn't seem like she hesitates very much, and I think that sounds fun. Also the murder. That's pretty neat. And the Honored Wing, like, lands, like, just, like, in one fluid motion, because, you know, he's not accustomed to... The Honored Wing glides over and lands beside you. Gonna... Just... The mech of the Lord of Kings, I don't actually have a powered down sprite for it, but, like, this is where it'd be. There we go. The Honored Wing is going to land before you, and say... Lancer of Calendulus, the Lancer of the World of Promise, and of Free Sanjak, I have an offer to make you. I say it to you, Dozer. Oh, very good. Oh, so yes, lands before you and says, Lancer of the World of Promise and of Free Sanjak, I have an offer to make you. And he's going to, he's like the he's going to open his frame and produce a locket, and he says, I would be honored were you to join us in the ranks of the Albatross. Right that which is wrong with the world. I believe you would have a unique perspective. You need not have an answer for me now. He smiles. He says, you have many good friends to get back to. I get the sense that perhaps you have not spent as much time with them as you would prefer. And he says, and should you need us, you can always reach us through this. And we'll like toss the locket to you. Good, cute. Bookkeeper, how you doing? You know, Auntie says, so, my favorite nephew. Did you have a good time? Well, maybe a drink is in order, or at least some good feasting. Hell yeah. Ani's gonna say, I think you've earned it, nephew. It's been a long day. A Spite responds like immediately, just like, I haven't done that ever, I think. I don't think crashing out in the mess hall counts. Oh, you better believe it. Hey. Anywhere that you'll have me. Anywhere you would bid me to join me. That's so cute! I think, do we want to cut to a party afterwards? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, give me just one moment to loading screen really quick. I do love those parallels. Aren't they beautiful? They're so beautiful. That's so good. Give me just a second for it to load maps and things. I didn't have a map prepared for this, so it won't be as high res as it necessarily could be. But listen, that's not what we're here for. Give me a second to have the computer chug. Sometimes the computer gotta chug. Sometimes the computer gotta chug. Okay, there we go. And give me a moment. I will be summoning all of the things and the people. So give me just a moment. They're gonna Bastion Naomi is gonna message you and be like, hey, you wanna hit up that one place? And they're all gonna invite you to join for the feast. Actually, I picked the wrong map, I'm sorry. Yeah. That's a great question. We are... You know, are we going outside the dome? That's a good question. Oh my god, we could. That's so cute. Oh yeah. Listen, I mean, it wasn't theirs to, you know. Redistributing ill-gotten gains is fully supported. I fully support redistributing ill-gotten gains. Yeah. Sorry, everyone. I've set up on a fool's errand. Oh, I shouldn't have moved this maps. Is the problem? Percy's gonna be like, Percy's gonna shrug and look up at Bastion and be like, I mean, it is the people's wine. We're just bringing back the map. My technical foolishness. So they keep telling me. No, it was just you are people, so they keep telling me. What were you saying? What were you saying, Bookkeeper? I mean, like, very technically. It did. It also took a railgun shot through the open cockpit. Sorry, across the open cockpit. So, like, I don't know how much it still works. What do you want it for? I love that. Maybe our closing shot, if we'd like, is, or like at this little gathering, Pen, you get a like selfie from Elizabeth, and she says, I will be busy, and she's like in like full like cleanup gear, and you see like an area that was like half eaten by the maw, and then it looks like something else tore through there, and she goes, "We left a bit of a mess," and she's like helping do salvage efforts, and also you see like a bunch of like gunfire and explosion leftovers, and Spite like leans over your shoulder and goes, that was mine. That was mine. That was mine. Did you know we had to break through that line?" And starts regaling you of the story of her and Spite like breaking that part of the siege, with Shifa coordinating the two of them from afar when they got close enough to communicate over comms. And maybe we... Oh, go ahead. No, what is it? Tell me. Elizabeth, like, immediately, like, Lamau, do I what? Yes? Question mark? Yeah. Oh, I mean, like, if you ask Spite how old she is, I mean, she goes, well, technically, I am more than 500 and... I don't do maths for other people. The point is, you are she's gonna poke you on either side of your cheeks, and she goes, "You're a baby." You're on. Hey, did anyone ever tell you you're secretly very fun when the world isn't exploding? You've always just seemed really serious. And I think... Is there anyone else we want to reach out to? Yeah. I think it will be beautiful for you to get the support you deserve. And Percy nods, and he is genuinely quite happy, and there's an element of bittersweet joy in that. The sadness of the fact that it was not already the case. And he says, Percy's got a lot going on. Percy was ready to kill his father. And he says, the world will be a better place for you in it no matter what you choose to do. And I'm glad that this moment will be truly free for you. May it continue indefinitely. And does anyone have a last thing they want to do? Then on, may this moment continue indefinitely. Thank you all for joining. Thanks all so much for joining me for this season 1 of Divine Right of Kings. It's been amazing and beautiful, and all of you are amazing storytellers. Thank you to everyone who's joined us. Congratulations, everyone. Thank you all. I'm kind of getting choked up. Y'all are so cool, and it's so beautiful. I'm so excited, and words. It's been amazing playing this game with y'all. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Oh, Oh. 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 I work hard, so it's nice because so I hope that people have fun. Speaking of which, I don't know what everyone's availability is like next week, but for anyone who will be here, I would love to have a roundtable next week, same bat time, just to like talk about this campaign and what we enjoyed and what we liked and didn't like as much and what we thought was interesting and cool. The last one was super cool. I thought I could do much better at it. Be much better at it next week. But for anyone who will join me in it, next week, 7 p.m. PST, back for the debrief of Divine Right of Kings Season 1. Gosh. And what else? The VODs are all in the Ubis McTubis, which I guess now you can watch all of Divine Right of Kings. Season 1, the full arc, the full box set, now on VHS. Over on the VOD channel. No, oh, it's a VHS box set. You gotta, that's how it's so it takes up the whole shelf. But would it take up the whole shelf? What? Yes! Let's see. There's a Blue Sky. I'm on Blue Sky. They're friendly over there. I don't know. Gosh, thank you again, everybody. This has been amazing, and I have learned so much from y'all, and I've had such a wonderful time. Thank you for joining me for this. And yeah, it's been so good. Oh yeah, Season 2 will arrive at some point. And there will be more projects from me and some number of us on this channel. Don't you worry, we're not going away. Thank you everyone so much. Y'all are so wonderful. And I guess for the last time of Season 1, have a good night, everybody. We will see you next week for the roundtable, for the debrief. Thank you all so much. Have a good one, everybody.